Welcome to Breaking Par with Bernard Sheridan, the golf instruction podcast that helps you take control of your game. Now, here's your host, the founder of Par Breakers Golf Academy and certified Golf Channel Swing Fix instructor, Bernard Sheridan.
Justin, welcome to Breaking Par. How are you today?
I appreciate you having me. Good. I appreciate you having me on the show.
So they tell me that you're in Miami, yes?
Yes, sir.
Is it cold in Miami today? Because you're wearing a vest. You just got the air conditioner turned up.
That's all relative. If it has a 6 in front of the temperature, that's cold for us in Miami. Today it is 74 degrees, so it's pretty sunny and warm today.
Okay, well, that's good. So here, probably up in the Philadelphia area, it's probably about 40 degrees right now, which for this time of year is really not bad. I want to say it's probably average. But
Sure.
And so far we've been pretty lucky with snow and things like that, whereas last year we got totally pummeled.
Yeah, you guys had a rough winter last winter. We knew it because we got a lot of tourists because of it. The worse your winters are, the more traffic we have down to Miami.
Okay, so I'm hoping that eventually I'll be down that way. So and I'll be able to enjoy that. So I'm looking more on the Gulf Coast though. So I kind of like that side.
Sure.
Near Naples, Fort Myers, that area. I've been down there many times, and I really like that area a lot. I just feel real comfortable with it, and I have a few relatives down there too.
Yeah, great spot. A lot of great courses in that area too.
Yeah, beautiful golf, especially in Naples. There's some awesome golf courses in that area.
Some of the best in Florida.
Absolutely. So, but I'll tell you what, Miami is not bad either. So.
No, it's a good spot. Hey, Miami's got a little other attractions outside of golf too. So you come down to Miami not just to play golf. You come down to get in a little bit of trouble, play golf, have a good time.
Right. So the way that I know you best is through Golf Channel Swing Fix, and I watch your videos on there. I'm a Golf Channel Swing Fix instructor also, and there's several times that when I'm doing a lesson, I will maybe use one of the tips that you give and pass that along to one of the students that I teach, because I really like the way that you present that information on video, and I know that you do a lot of them, and that's probably why the Golf Fix likes to have a lot of your videos up there.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I did about 65 tips for the Golf Channel when we went up and filmed it initially. Great experience. First time I was ever on film, doing the tips. But and the whole Golf Fix platform's done really well for me. I've got people and lessons that I normally wouldn't have access to. I'd be able to find me and again, eventually come and see me in person for like a 2 or 3 day golf school. But to have that initial introduction online where they can actually hear me speak about their swing and give them opinions, as you've probably experienced it yourself, from people in places that we normally wouldn't have access to, in other states and other regions and even other countries for that matter, where they can actually start to develop a relationship with you and you can kind of start to help them out. And if there's a chance to see them in person, you can do that as well.
Yeah. I know that for me, a lot of the times that I access that is when I have students that I teach actually in person in my area, and they're away on vacation or things like that. And then they'll say, hey, I got something going on. Can I, and I'm going to send you a video of it. And then we do it that way. And it works out good. So as for the players that you teach, what is the bulk of the players that you teach in handicap level?
I would say the majority of my players, most of what I do, just to give you a rundown, I do the 1, 2, and 3 day golf schools, and I market those as personalized golf schools. So I only do 2 people max in my golf schools. I don't have big groups. It's a personalized golf school. And then I do individual sessions here and there, but really I run a coaching program. So for most of my locals in this area that aren't coming and staying with me doing a golf school and an intensive program, they do a monthly coaching program. And that's attracted really, I would say players from all levels, but I'd say my biggest range is probably between that 3 and 15 handicap. And then I probably have another 30% or that are between that like 10 and 20, 22 handicap. So I'd say the bulk of them are players that have been existing, playing for a while, wanted to take the next level and kind of go into a coaching program, something a little more intensive, or they're players that maybe aren't at the level they want to be, and they know they need to work harder to get there, and that's why they kind of committed to this. And I do this for a reason: is the coaching program's up to 5 90-minute lessons per month, and then there's a lot of communication even between those classes. But I want people that are going to commit the time to want to get better. I'm sure you're an instructor, you know this as well. Those people that do commit, they tend to get better. And those people get better, it's more rewarding for us as the instructor as well. So that's why I've kind of geared everything towards that coaching program model, just to have more people that are willing to put in the time to get better, and then give me the opportunity to share my knowledge with them to get them better. It's very difficult to get somebody better if you're only seeing them, once a month, once every 2 months, once every 3 months, whatever it might be. You can fix little things or put little things back together more or less, but it's really hard to show any kind of substantial change or change in their mindset or what they're doing on the golf course without some repetition, without some time being spent with the instructor, and really committing to that time, just like it would be if they wanted to lose weight or get in better shape and they had to see a fitness trainer. You got to put that time in. You got to show up. You got to put time in. You got to get the knowledge. And then you just got to put the sweat equity in to actually make the change that you want to make.
So a lot of the things that you're working on, are you working with your students on specifically swing faults? Are you working on fitness type things? Are you working on, because I know that you're a pretty fit guy, you're a young guy. A lot of times when guys, as opposed to an old guy like me, and I still use fitness in my lessons, but it's not, I want to say, a big part of my lessons.
Sure.
It's more of fixes and drills and things that I use more than not.
It's a great question, and really it's kind of all over the map. It really just depends on the player that I have in front of me. I have some guys that are great ball strikers. We don't talk anything about golf swing. We don't talk anything technical. It's all course management, pre-shot routine, breathing, kind of getting them to stay in the mindset they want to be in when they're on the golf course. We don't really change a lot of what they're doing. We might introduce specialty shots here and there for them to know how to hit, especially around the greens or something like that. But there's really very little technique change. And then I have some guys, that's all we work on. Their ball striking is their biggest weakness. We spend a lot of time looking at numbers, whether it's on TrackMan, Swing Catalyst, have a 3D system, trying to figure out what's going on with their body, with their idea, their concept that's affecting their ball striking. Then you have some players that kind of mix of the two. They need some swing training. They need a lot of short game help. They need some on-course work. So really it just kind of depends on the purpose. Then you have those players that come in that we know that physically we've got to do some things differently to get their body to be able to do things differently to achieve the goals that we want. So those are the players that maybe we spend them a little more time before the lesson even starts, stretching out, talking about some of the things they're doing, get them to work with a fitness trainer that I have an open relationship with, that we can communicate back and forth with the player. Okay, this is what we want the player to be able to achieve. This is what I want them doing in the gym. And then they kind of report back to me. So it used to be that I think initially I wanted to kind of get everybody into that fitness, swing training type model. But it doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody responds to that, and everybody has the time to commit to that. So really I tailor it around the person, what I believe their needs are, and then what they're physically able to dedicate to achieve those needs. So sometimes even though you want to have program for a player and this would be the right program for the player, that might not necessarily work for that player just because time constraints, financial constraints, whatever it might be. So then you have to scale down the program that you built for them to fit their needs and what they can, realistically accomplish and commit to. So I think the easy answer is that nobody's ever the same, and you really have to look at each person individually and decide what's best for them, and then what's best for them that'll work for them at the same time. And that's kind of that black art in golf instruction, is trying to figure out that combination that works for each player.
That's a great nugget of wisdom, and I totally agree wholeheartedly. I believe that that most students and everybody who's out there listening, it's real important to take a listen to what Justin just said, and to really, when you go to try to find an instructor, really make sure that they have your individual needs at heart, and they're not trying to put you into a cookie cutter type of a thing, which a lot of instructors will do just because they feel like that's the way that it should be done. And but as you can see, Justin is a younger guy. He has a lot of new ideas, and this is one that we can see is instruction is starting to move more into individualized, tailor-made for the individual, so that they get the best service. So that's a great nugget of wisdom to drop on them there, Justin. So when you're working with technology, and you just mentioned that you use TrackMan and you use a weight plate, I guess that's Swing Catalyst.
Swing Catalyst, yes. I use the balance plate, yes.
Okay, and then you also mentioned a 3D system that you're using now. And what is that?
Yeah, I bought an 8-sensor 3D system from Phil Cheatham in 2007. So I've been working with that system for quite a while now, and it probably took me a few years before I figured out exactly not how to use it, but what to use it for. And now, it's become a lot easier, a lot more simplistic. And you really, all that information, it's really important to always put this on there too. That information is for the coach. That information that we get from 3D, whether it's the Swing Catalyst plate, maybe TrackMan, I think the player can see some of that information and kind of understand some of the information, especially when we're talking about distance control, some of the basic path issues, things like that. But the Swing Catalyst stuff and the 3D stuff is really for the coach, for me to understand what's going on with the player, and then to give me reassurance that we're moving in the right direction. So I use it as a way to really hold myself accountable as much as anything else, that, okay, this is the direction we want to go. Here is our starting point. Yes, we are moving in the right direction, or no, what I'm telling the player isn't quite going through the way I want it to, or they're not responding the way I want to. So I need to change my train of thought or change the way I explain what I'm trying to get them to do to maybe have a better result. But a lot of that stuff, it's not to overwhelm the player. And again, I very rarely, and I've made this shift probably about a year and a half ago, where I very rarely even let the players see the information. That information is for me. I used to have it on a big screen, see it, but then it just arose too many questions, people looking at things, picking out things, prioritizing things that maybe we didn't want to go in that direction just yet, or maybe that was a cause and effect, not something they needed to worry about. So I really keep that information myself, but it is very powerful. It's a great way to really measure if you're getting your point across. And again, I think that's what I use it most for, is for checkups, for initial evaluations, and for checkups to make sure we're moving in the right direction.
Do you find when you're using this technology that it's easier for you to get to the root of the problem faster? Absolutely. And I think not only that, I think I can identify the issue quicker. I think I get less fooled, or my eye gets less fooled now that I've been working with the equipment for more period of time, where I've able to be able to see something, correlate it to something, quantify it, and then you do that over and over again, and your eye starts to be able to see things, and you kind of do that correlation in your mind, so you get less fooled, is what I think the best way to say it. Is sometimes the swing looks like it's doing something, then you put it on a measuring device, and you see it's doing something else. I don't think that happens quite as much anymore. And I think it really helped me get more simplistic in my teaching. I say this all the time. People think I'm crazy, but I think the more advanced the evaluation is, the more simplistic the remedy usually is. It's because we don't have to guess. We kind of know, well, this is what's going on. Okay, that's fine. One quick tip that's very simplistic that applies to this. I had a guy the other day that had very little lead hip lift through the downswing, wasn't creating a lot of vertical force through his left leg, his front leg, really wasn't using the ground very effectively. So I did this evaluation, we figured out what's going on, and his tip was simply swing on uphill lies right now. Right now, I just want you to feel like you're swinging on an uphill lie. This is the idea. He grasped that. He felt that. He could apply that very quickly. So it wasn't, even though we did this 45-minute, pretty advanced evaluation, his tip to fix whatever we found wrong was a quick 10-second tip that he could apply on every tee box to get on a slope, just swing up the hill, get that feeling, and hit his drive that way. So I think it's really helped me kind of build better feels that kind of for the player that are more simplistic, that actually have some real data behind them as well. So I really think it has made me shut up more, which is a good thing as an instructor sometimes, where I talk less.
be able to explain things a little simpler, so the player can grasp something and be confident in the information because he knows I'm doing everything to make sure that what I'm doing is factual, but also simplify the information that I'm presenting to him. And I think that's what every player kind of wants to a point. They want to know how to get better, but they don't want to be overwhelmed with thoughts and things that might even increase anxiety, not reduce anxiety.
So, for not just the players out there who are listening, or the I want to say the amateur players, but for some professionals that we have listening out there, and I know that on social media, in a lot of these different groups, and
Sure.
and I see guys asking questions. I'm thinking about getting a TrackMan. What do you think about that? Things like that. So I know that I use Flight Scope. You use TrackMan. Both of them are great units. They
Sure.
both
Great.
of them give tremendous amount of information. Do you feel that now that because you can use that and you can get that information and make things happen a lot more easily for you and quicker, would you recommend that if you are a golf instructor, that this is really a necessary part of equipment to help you best serve your student?
I think every situation is different. I mean, financially,